convenience, inconvenience, affordability. Then you look at one business, your competitor fits into an expensive zone, then you shift yourself to possibly the affordable zone. Then if it's convenient for you, you look at that. There's a sound coming from my base, so please bear with me. Now you look at also your growth strategy. Now I'm saying all this because if you are in the ideas process, you need to write a lot. You should be able to write almost a diary in a month, because every day your brains are being stimulated to do something. And you need to put them down in ink. How will we scale in the future? In the phase 1, first month, first year, 10th month, first year. These are critical to your success. Your research must have a growth plan. You must put cost into the growth plan. How do I scale in the next phase? Introduce equity, financing, or partners. In the next few years, am I going to launch an IPO? Am I going to remain a local champion or go global? What technology am I going to use? Now, I share this example. I did a 10-year development plan for a company that consulted me. I was then working at Ericsson. So in the 10-year development plan, after speaking with the CEO for about an hour, I realized their space they were occupying, and did a projection every 2 years with a review, revise, rework, because their space was very tight. I think someone entered and they've not muted their phone. Can you do that for me, please? Now.
No, it's just Danny, the one sharing, Daniel sharing the screen. I've muted him.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Now, just about 2 months after you're on the traction, can you go back to growth strategy? Go back. The research or the 10-year development plan, he called me and asked me, he's still looking for somebody to implement it for him. So I said, yes, you need to look for it. Then he asked me, why can't you come as a consultant and implement for me? I said, put up a package. If it's attractive, I will leave one work and jump to your wagon. So I took up that chance to be the regional general manager for 7 countries. And when I joined, I realized that they were not ready to implement the strategy. Things I could do overnight, I was receiving a lot of resistance from the CEO. He was not ready for the immediate change. And personally, I struggle when people don't want things to change immediately. That's why you brought me in. So I told him that if we continue this way, from my intelligence in the telecom market, the business will crash the next year. So I exited the business in the first year. We struggled through the first year, and I told him, okay, thank you very much. We need to reorganize. I stepped out, but my pay was big. It was stifling the company. They can pay the others. Now, in the second year, the business crumbled completely. All the 100 staff left, lost most of the contracts because many of the critical things that I proposed, he couldn't adapt and start it. So that is where growth strategy is important. If your idea will survive, you need to look at growth. How do I grow? If you are doing the business yourself, when you want to grow, you need to employ people. It will cost you, but you need to employ critical staff. You need to organize it well. If you are spending on your own, you need to now discipline your expenditure to be able to survive. Then that is growth. Now, the traction means you are forecasting yourself for success, your vendors, your users, your revenue. You need to see it. Give me the next slide. You need to see it very well as you are growing. Now, You need to also give yourself some timelines. Where do I go to? At what time? The next slide. And with timelines, you'll be able to follow through and be able to get good results. If you are failing, you just drag the marker further and you work with it. Then you need to also get financials right. I put these dummy things because sometimes we have all the good ideas, but we are not able to put it at financials. Once you are able to represent it in finance, that is when you are able to look at it with reality. That if I should spend the next 2-3 years working on this, my thesis or my research findings, if I don't make 10% of it, I can do 20. Now, many of us will ask ourselves the next slide, how do we start? The entrepreneurial journey is a lonely one. You need to think of yourself as starting alone. You do a lot of things alone. You work from your bedroom. Instead of business, customer to business, that is C to B, you need to do a lot of business to customer, B to C, or business to business. Because you're operating from your bedroom. I remember in KNUST, I was operating from my hostel room. I rented a room in Idiase, and the cleaning gadgets were there. Workers will come at 12 midnight to go and clean where they sell food. I took all those places as contracts. So when boys are loving themselves on the compound at 12 midnight, I wear my cap and my workers are cleaning because we are taking our money spot on. That's how I survive. Now, as you are growing, the organization has to scale. Your leadership, your operations, then your technology must grow. Then you look at funding. Now, as you are growing, you need to look at how do I grow? Where am I getting money from? Are you getting money from the crowd? People putting money into it as equity? Are you getting money from yourself, from family properties that you will sell, or you use your property as an equity, an office? Those are the things you need to look at. All the research findings are there, but these are the brick and mortar, the reality of how it should come to pass. Now, so in a nutshell, research does the following for you. Give me the next slide. As an entrepreneur, I am speaking on these things because of what I know. It makes you very confident. Once you are able to master what you know, I tell you, Dr. Opoku called me with just a short notice. I said, well, there's nothing I can do. I have to respond to you. I put together this slide, I think, last night, because I want to speak straight to what I want to speak to. We need technology research as baseline for some of the businesses. And one of the things I'm looking through in the next few years is succession planning. Succession planning is most businesses are dying the moment their CEOs die. And as a nation, we need to look at, can we get people researching into engineering succession planning? We forecast engineers who can replace critical skills. We let them understudy them with real plan. And I've spoken to him about internship. I gladly offer myself to mentor students, because our students are just dabbing things from the internet, and when you speak to them, they are so light. After 4 years of university, there is nothing in them. But when you know what you know, you are confident. It gives you the power to communicate effectively to your audience. You can talk about it with some energy, and it gives you the ability to see the future today, meaning you are not perturbed about the circumstances you live in, because you are very sure if it doesn't work in Ghana, it can work elsewhere. You are able to draw the right lines as to when to start, grow, and stop. You are able to forecast and anticipate business with good model, because as you start with quality research as a baseline in formulating your ideas, you are able to model it richer as you grow on it. It gives you the ability to market a non-existent product before it is birth. You can sell it in pre-order. It's not done, but people will believe the concept and you model it right. Now, I spoke about this elevator pitch. Imagine you sit with Bill Gates or Warren Buffett for a 7-hour flight from Accra to JFK. What will you discuss to get him to spend on your idea? We need to be ready for the next opportunity. So I will open up for questions, and I think I've done my bit to support this agenda. I'll pause here for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful, wonderful presentation. Sitting here, I'm just thinking about how much money I'm sitting on. I think now I understand the saying that says we are sitting, discussions comedy. We are sitting on money, but we are going hungry. There's a lot of money, I think, around us, and I'm hoping that after this, I'll be able to open my eyes well and looking at myself first as the product before the idea as the next product. I'll be able to make use of this knowledge we are all getting today. That's wonderful. Want to open for questions. Please, as many people as have questions, you can raise up your hands and we'll let you in, and then you ask your question and our resource person will give us responses to them as we get them. Questions, contributions, comment, please.
Yes, Daniel. So I think this how would go so that it would be a bit controlled. If you would want to ask a question, you can raise your hands. I would allow you to speak. Or if you would want to type in a chat box, we can read it to the facilitator so that he would answer for you. So please, if anyone has a question, you can raise your hands using the raise hand button, and then we can take it from there. The chat is also open for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Danny, there's
Please,
a hand. Yeah.
Yes. William.
Hi. Okay, so I'm William Adu. Okay, so I'll go straight to my question. Listening to him, at a point he mentioned that we're always looking at money when we are starting businesses, entrepreneurship, and we don't look at availability as money. We don't look at all the other aspects as also very important in starting a business. But I mean, this has been a contention for a while where people really ask whether money is really important when you're starting a business. And I just want to ask him that, let's say I'm starting a delivery service company and I need about 3 motors, or let's say even 2 motors. And I don't have the funds to buy the motors. I've done the research. I've realized that if I have 2 motors, and he mentioned numbers as well. I've realized that if I have 2 motors and I have the riders and I'm doing about, let's say 15 deliveries a day, I'll get this amount of money times the 4 weeks of a month and a year. And I know my numbers and I know I'm going to do well. What is the strategy in raising the amount of money to buy the motors and start the work? And I know that when you start, probably in your first, second month, you might not really get as much because you would also have to pay your riders at the end of the first month. Okay, so how do you put up a strategy to get the funds that will get you the motors pay your riders in the first, second month when you know the business won't be doing too well when you start it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we get the next person? Jeremy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. So when Professor Konyo gave the welcome address, what I picked from him was that, or the central point I picked was that we're expected to commercialize our research. And our facilitator or our resource person also mentioned that the end view of our research should be commercialization. So we know there are other channels, there are other forms of commercialization, some being spin-offs, like then being involved personally in the operation of a business, and then licensing your idea if you have protection over it, or assigning your idea. That's also a form of commercialization. So my question is, how can the technology transfer offices or the IP offices or the incubation hubs contribute or support research outputs for our researchers or towards our researchers, research outputs? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Okay. So.
Okay, let me attempt to answer these two. I think we don't have so many hands.
Yes.
Right, so let me address the second one. I think one of the processes, and I think your institute can formulate a strategy. I believe we have an opportunity to come out with a consultancy where the consultancy will visit industries or companies or private businesses who some of these researchers can feed into. Now, supposing we have a product which we know we need 1 million Ghana cedis to start, and our researchers are going to be co-owners with equity. Then the businessman comes with the money as a component equity. Then we have a team of management personnel as part of the consultancy. We will be able to speak to that businessman to put that money in. What we are failing to do is that we leave everything to the researcher to go and battle it out. But if the university with a consultancy team visit Despite, visit Special Eyes, Topman, and all these people, and present a business proposition requesting for their equity, the insurance we give to that businessman is that behind these field players, we have a team of professionals who are coaching the people to succeed. If we don't put together that, these young people will find it so difficult to start up. And I believe, and Dr. Poku, I've been talking to you about this. This is something I feel we should work at, that every year we can profile about 10 projects. Then we have businessmen who we can present to, like the pitch we see online, the dragon den. We can set up a simple dragon den, train our boys, then we pitch it to serious businessmen to put $100,000, $200,000 into it, rather than buying flashy cars and houses. And that is how the university will have a component. And I think one of these days, I'll also ask for a slot to present to you the build concept. The build concept where we have lawyers, we have marketing people, we have those who are giving us insurance that even if this project fails, your money will not fail. We need to work at it. If not, generations will come and go and they will recycle these same projects and Ghana will remain the same. But one good solution can employ about 1,000 university graduates, and that's the game changer. A typical example is Geely. There's this Geely University which started a car called Geely. Now, I followed it way back when I was in tech. Now, Geely is buying out big companies in the automobile space because they set up a consortium which went around doing the business side. And we don't need to do cars again. We need people who can buy out Kantanka car. We are the technocrats. We can buy that company out, push our students there, and gradually we rebrand all these models. Now, the second question is, how do I get money to start up? Right. We have grown up to think that starting up means that you need money. Now, I consulted for a company to restart a logistics company some time ago. I think I didn't mention that. K-Lloyd's Logistics. It's into deliveries, courier services, global procurement, and I was managing their Ghana setup. Now, you can start a courier business without a bike. Get 3 or 10 bikers, profile them as your call-to bikers. Your margins will be less at the startup, but you will still gradually save up to buy your first bike. The challenge is starting out with 3 bikes with little market place or market size is that if one bike gets into an accident, you lost one. But if it's a partner that you have procured, they get the accident and they go with their bike, you can replace them and you protect your margin. Sometimes we need to let you understand the way business can be dirty and nice. You play dirty and nice at the startup, gradually you build your capacity to be able to enter the space. You don't always have to buy. Own the processes, work through the processes, iterate it gradually. It will get to a time that the process has become very well that, for instance, Bolt doesn't own a car. Uber doesn't own a car. They own the processes. So if there's 1,000 accidents in a year, they care less about the accident. It's not their cars. If we are not able to build that concept, it will be difficult to start up any meaningful business. And I think our student population need to understand that way of starting up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the responses. If we have any other question, but whilst we are waiting for another question, I just wanted to pass this through that if you check the chat session, we have a small link there. It will take you just about 15 seconds. Please provide us with your feedback for this seminar, and we will use that to improve the subsequent ones. So please, let's all go to the chat session, click on the link, and fill the form for us. If anyone has another question, you can raise up your hand, we'll call you in, or you can fill the form, you can put it at the chat session and we'll read it for the resource person to respond to it. Okay, sure. Godwill, go ahead. Godwill, you can go ahead. Unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all. Please,
Afternoon.
I just heard the response from Mr. Mensah, the resource person, about if you have an idea and the fact that you can't seek to get a businessman involved so that your own becomes an equity and he brings in the money. There's experience that I have about these insurance companies, medical insurance. I had friends who brought up the idea of establishing a medical insurance company. When the project, they brought the idea, they got a financier. The project became very successful. Then after some point, since the big man who financed the whole project, he decided to pull out. And by pulling out, what he did was he rather set up a new office with the same brand name. They started the project in Kumasi. However, as the business began to gain ground, he opened office in Accra. Okay, and rather employed new people. So if we hear of such experiences, then some of us who are coming with fresh ideas, we panic. Why do I have to give out my idea to someone in the business firm, work my ass around it? Then when it gains ground, the person will pull out. I'd like to know from him if he's having a solution for such things. You are not going with cash, you don't have the means. He's the person having the means. If he has a solution, because if for now I have an idea, I wouldn't bring it out. I'd rather wait, gain enough money to start it on my own, rather than to try and go into partnership, which can be very risky.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Nkrumah. Now, it's a good question. What I meant by the involvement of the university bits is where I think you missed it. If we just want to directly involve the private men, they are as greedy as I am greedy. Now, you need to establish the process. And the insurance I mentioned, the insurance was the institution as KNUST being a part of the process. You see, in all these greedy environments, if we have a legal backing, an institution as being part of the process, everybody who comes into it feels secured. So you went alone, he backed out, now you are left alone. But supposing the built concept is secured with an institution, a legal component, and all of them are working effectively, you cannot just wake up. There will be exit damages that has to be done. You cannot just start up the same brand. There is a proprietary business that the criteria must possibly patent the idea, or it has to have exit conditions and damages that the financier has to pay. And one of those things is where I mentioned that a good consortium can be instituted through this, our engagement. Me, I'm ready to support you so that we put up a cycle. And there are students who have parents who can buy into the ideas and finance, knowing very well that the department is a key player. They have professors. You see, if we are going for funding from a bank, and you have 4 professors with 20 years experience, the business that we are presenting, we are going to write XYZ company has a solid management team with over 60 years of experience. We've put them a combined years of experience in management, in technology, in finance, in engineering. And you, the student who has joined as a, let's say, a PhD or whatever holder, you are riding on that experience. And that's the little bit we are missing when we go head on alone. You need to optimize all the knowledge you've had. We list some of the research documents you've written. So when we enter a bank for financing, head on, they say, oh, these people, we know them. KNUST professors have been profiled as part. That is what a consortium does. Thank you very much. Next question.
Thank you very much for the response. William, Edu.
Yeah, hi, William again. I wanted to ask this question concerning the research. What are the risk analysis you look at when you pick researches to apply to your business? Because I heard you talk about how you did a research on the coconut with your 1 acre coconut and how you applied it and started getting 300% increase or 300% increase in your results, yeah, or in your your harvest. I wanted to ask, did you do any kind of risk analysis and how you implemented the research in with your coconuts? Because I'm thinking if in applying it to all your coconuts on your 1 acre land, if it had gone bad, it means your business would have crumbled, because if it had affected your coconuts and the yield wasn't going to go well, the
Okay.
whole business was going to come down. I'm
Okay.
thinking,
I think we call something the cost of risk. In our business, you need to put a value to the risk analysis. Meaning, if I'm driving from Accra to Kumasi, what is the risk and what is the cost of the risk? If I'm going to speed at 100 kilometers per hour, the risk is, if I burst the tire, can I sustain it? If I can't, I lose the car. If I go at 70, the risk is I will delay, I won't get there early, but it's minimal. Now, in my situation, I think I had 10 coconut trees around my house in Adenta. So I experimented, then I saw the results. So when I went to the first 2 acre farm to implement, I was very sure of the results. And that is how we implement experimented or research documents. You need to do the sample space, you test it in a pilot project, and you document the successes. And most of the time, some of these research documents are not customized for our environment. So you need to look at the environmental conditions under which they were done. Again, researches and implementation can fail. So if you are doing a research implementation, you need to know at what value, what am I willing to let go? If it can work, you get a bust. If it fails, you get a crash. But you need to look at the cost of the risk. Thank you.
Okay, fortunately, we are privileged to also have with us Engineer Asari Abua, who is the chairman of the Industrial Advisory Board for KEEP. And Engineer will want to also ask a question. Please, can you ask your question? Engineer Asari. Hello?
Yes, what I'm saying is that it's not a question. I just wanted to commend the presenter that it's been a very illuminating presentation. And, you know, the focus on the fact that just purely doing research and not looking at the end product, what you could do with it, really may not be a satisfying venture per se. So I have to say that I'm particularly happy and impressed with the presentation. I hope that we'll continue like that, and we'll not sit down. As you said, you finish your MS, you know, a master's program, a PhD, and waiting to be joined the working group for a pay. Maybe we should be looking at other options for how we can implement those research work that we've done, so we can multiply the income that we get. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer, for that wonderful input. Yes, thank you very much. Maybe we take our last question and then we can progress with the remaining of the program and bring it to a close. Anybody with question or comment? Once again.
Jerome Lagu. Jerome or Jerome.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity once again. I wanted to ask, when the moderator was introducing our speaker, he mentioned that his professor said he was also an entrepreneur because he had also acquired a patent. So Do we have patents apart from the one Professor Bobby has on his cassava harvester? Do our professors, lecturers have patents on their research outputs? If not, how can they, going forward, get patents, or researchers get patents, acquire patents for their research outputs? Thank you.
Jeremy, let me just say what I know in this space. I've done a project which we needed to patent it in US. And sometimes you just look at it in Ghana. Ghana, there is a patent department at the Registrar General's office. You need to file your claims. And I don't know much about how Ghana goes about it, but in the US, fortunately, one of my classmates work in the US patent office. And when I heard of Ebola, I really went to him to ask him to check their records, because Ebola was a laboratory manufactured disease which was patented with their claims. So there are things that we can do and patent it globally. And what they do is that you file the claims as to what your product seeks to do, and they will research all the claims others have made, whether you are not duplicating what people have done. And that has led to a lot of battle between Apple and Samsung and Intel, because the Apple will file this claim and Samsung will say that I have already filed it before, and if you implement it, you are stealing my technology. So if we really want to go that path, we need to engage either the local and the global bodies and understand what goes into it. And I feel that some of these discussions, we could do a borrowed course, just like those days Professor Andam of Blessed Memory instituted swimming and dancing and those things, that students can take borrowed courses in entrepreneurial development, where we can coach them with realities. We can expose them to a lot of these things, and it will expand their knowledge so that they don't go around without these basic information. Some even don't know how to register a business. And we could do a session for 1 hour for registration. Actually, I registered my first business in 2005 from campus, KNUST campus, limited liability company. When I had a problem with the university, because the university was paying my cleaning company so much money, people thought some lecturers were siphoning the money. So that time, Professor Adakwa instituted a committee to investigate my company. When they called me, I had all my certificates, my registration, commence business, VAT, GRA, and they look at it and say, okay, you can go. No further questions. I wasn't doing any shady deals. Again, we did a snack bar at the engineering area, and those days, there's a doctor or Professor Akwa was threatening us as young boys why we want to take so much money from GSA for claiming ownership. I just informed my lawyer. I was a small boy, but these are knowledge that we learn online, that people can use it from the tender age as an undergrad. And once we are able to expose our children in the undergrad stage to it, I believe when I was 20 years, I had 80 workers. But I was learning these things at 19 and those things, trying to do some fundamental things right. So at this age, I'm getting to 39 this year. I'm very confident when I enter the bank. I'm very confident when people approach me because I have solid fundamentals, and it's on my fingertips. Thank you very much, Jerome.
Thank you very much for that wonderful response to it. I think that you have given us a lot to think about, and besides a lot to act on. And so I will want to once again thank you for giving us your time and resources and sharing your knowledge with us. We are very, very, very grateful, Mr. Bransford Mensah. I will proceed with the remaining of the program. First, we'll go to, again, I want to comment on the fact that we have a link at the chat session. Please click on it and give us your feedback so that we can use it to improve our subsequent seminars and symposiums. And then without much ado, I want to call the network coordinator, Professor Jerry John Ponyo, to give us a closing remark. And then after that, we'll take the prayer, the closing prayer from Dr. David Atukwansa, if he's around. Prof.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Danny, for all the hard work and putting this piece together. I congratulate you and the group. Indeed, when we started, I did mention that we're hoping that it will be an engaging seminar and we will learn a lot. Personally, even though I've been in the space for many years, this has been very revealing and challenging. And from a personal perspective, I have benefited immensely from this seminar. I am confident that moving forward, the way we do research and our approach to the products of our research will be different. And I say this not limited to just Ghana, but I'm looking at all the universities represented in this network. I am confident that it is going to affect how we conduct research and how we commercialize our research. With reference to our facilitator, Ransford, I want to say that I am encouraged and I am challenged by what you have achieved up to this level. And from the university perspective, the recommendations which have been made with reference to partnering with people like you as far as our student training in entrepreneurship and business development is concerned will be taken up, and we will make sure that we are training our students not just to know how to set up a business, but actually be able to set up a business in practice. I know that in the final year, for instance, for those who study at KNUST Engineering, there is a course on entrepreneurship management that students are supposed to take. The recommendation will be that to bring actors and players on board so that you could share your experiences with students so they could learn from your example. And so at this point, I just once again want to thank all who have participated in one way or the other to this successful seminar. I thank you, Ransford, and I also thank our advisory board members for making time of their busy schedule to be with us. It's been a wonderful experience, and it's always heartwarming to see all of you around supporting this initiative. I also want to thank all of us participants who actually have made time to learn from this experience. We have a symposium coming up in a few weeks. When you see the flyer, book the time, block it, and then let's continue to engage for the good of God and country. Danny, I will pass the baton back to you so you continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ponyo. Is David around? Once again, thank all of you for participating, and I'm very, very grateful for making time with us. I hope you have taken something from this and will be making a good use of it. Yes, as mentioned, our symposium will be coming off soon. From now till within some few days, we'll be sending out a call for abstracts. I want to encourage all of you to put something together and send it so that you will be listed for presentation during the symposium. More details about the symposium will come up. Once again, after the symposium, there will be another seminar. The topic and the details of that seminar will also come out very soon. Thank you, and Dr. Kwanzaa, if you're around.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Koku. So I'm supposed to say the closing prayer, right?
Yeah, but before you come in, I think someone is asking that the slides be shared, if that is possible.
Mr. Ransford Benson. Okay, we'll
yes,
talk to
what
him.
I can do is I will send you my version. I added a few. Then you can email it to all those who filled the form. So please, you can go back to the registration form, fill it so that they can get your emails and send it to you. I think that's the appropriate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So we have a form for you to fill to ask registration. Please fill the registration form and we'll email it to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Dr. Kwanzaa.
Is it possible to repost, fill it out?
Yes, we'll share it. Gifty, if you have it, you can even share it at the chat session right now.
Yes, that's what I'm proposing. Yeah, let me say the closing prayer while Gifty wants to get the link ready. Okay, so our Lord Master, we thank you for such a wonderful session. We are grateful for this opportunity to learn from the resource person and to learn from each other. We pray that you help us to make good use of the insights that we have received. We ask all these in the name of Christ our Lord. Amen.
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 So once again, we want to thank you for coming, and we are sharing the link for registration has been shared. Please click on it, register so we can get your email and send it to you. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for participating. We thank the team also that created the link and took charge of the interpretation and everything for us, Irene and those involved. We are very, very grateful for helping us in that way. Thank you, everybody, and see you at the next seminar. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. And then we are ending the meeting. Bye for now.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Bye.